All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Jessica Glover, who is an author, and she wrote the books Another Beast's Skin, which is a series. How many books are in the series, Jessica?
There are two that are currently published, and one that's on its way should be out. I'm looking towards summer next year. We ran into a little bit of a delay, but it should be out next year.
There we go. Everybody on this podcast will be looking forward to the third book in that series and the upcoming Stars Like book. Is that correct?
Yep. Stars Like Gasoline. Yeah, Stars Like Gasoline releases April 25th, 2023.
There we go. Just curious, before we really jump in to the show, are you writing two books at once right now, or is one in kind of the editing and one is in like the writing stage, or?
I have a lot going on. So the Another Beast Skin books, those are done. The last book of Chaos and Haste is actually it's written. It's gone through a lot, but it needs to have like final edits done on it. So technically, I'm in the editing stage with that one. Stars Like Gasoline is ready for its final edit stage as well. And then because I'm actually indie publishing that one, um, so I'm doing that on my own. It's kind of a passion project because I love this book so much. Um, I've done a lot of work on it, but I have to like format it and do all of that myself, which I'm really nervous about. So I'm in a lot of the technical stages with that one, but it is written. And then I have another book that I'm in the process of. It's technically written, but it needs to go through copy edits, so there's going to be a lot more added and taken out. And then I've started a new book, completely different
Oh,
project. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
there we go. Love it. Very busy gal. Well, awesome. Unorthodox start to the show, but I love it because I loved hearing about your projects. We do like to jump right in. So if you can start with telling us a little bit more about yourself, what you like to do for fun outside of writing amazing books, that'd be great.
I'm a traveler in my heart and physically. That's probably my top tier favorite thing to do. I love to get lost in other cities, towns, just explore culture. And so I do that with my family. And I actually really like to cook and I make chocolate. I had a small chocolate business for a while, so I do actually make artisan chocolate. And as I am a personal trainer, I do like to work out, and that's really important to me. Just mentally and physically, I enjoy working out. It's not drudgery for me. So, but being outdoors, hiking, traveling, that's kind of where it is for me. So,
There we go. Have you always liked to travel, or did you develop it as you became an adult?
I've always liked to travel. My mom worked for Pan Am, so we got to fly for free. And so we kind of always went. I feel like I was born with wings, so we were always somewhere. So it's always been a passion of mine, and to be able to explore like different cultures and the art of different places. I adore art. It's just an intrinsic part of my being, I suppose.
There we go. I love it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of travel too, and it's interesting because I like to see new places,
Mhm.
but I don't like to travel frequently. Like I would
Okay.
love to go out once or twice a year to a completely new place and
Yeah.
experience it for a good couple weeks, but I'm
Yeah.
not one to like fly twice a month, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot out of you, and it does. It really, there's something to be said for the comforts of home and being able to be in your routine, eat your own food, sleep in your own bed. That's a big deal. So,
Facts, facts. Awesome. Well, how long have you been an author or wanting to be an author?
my whole life, I wrote my first novel, quote unquote, when I was 12, but obviously didn't do anything with it. So I have a degree in creative writing and also a degree in international studies, international relations, intelligence, and foreign policy. So kind of did like a mixed degree there. So I have a degree in creative writing. And I just kind of put it on pause. I stopped writing. Not that I stopped writing. I would, journal and did poetry and scribbles here and there, but I didn't throw myself back into it until 2018. I just kind of put it on the back burner for a little bit and did different things with life. I raised my kids, and it's kind of just took a break for a bit.
I got you. I got you. Do you think the degree in creative writing has really helped you as an author, or do you think most of the skills were developed outside of the classroom?
I think the skills were developed outside of the classroom. I think that having that degree, as like really any degree, I think what it helps you with the most, unless you're going into a field that requires it, say, medicine or law or things like that, I feel like it's giving you more of a well-rounded life experience, like a classic life experience. And I do like to learn. I'm fairly academic, and so I enjoy the history and things like that we have to take. But I think that the technicality of it, I mean, sure, I guess the grammar helps, but you don't need that.
Yeah.
And as someone who really does like academia, I feel like I'm a little bit going against the grain saying that, but no, I don't think I needed that. And I think that the skills that I developed, that have made me a better author, even after my first book released, is kind of tapping into the writing community and getting feedback from other writers and readers, the people who are really consuming your product. And I think paying attention to that and reading is the best get your hands on.
There we go. I love it. I was asking that question because I recently had a 15-year-old who's also an author. She has written a couple books, and actually, I feel like more than a couple. She's a published author, though. And she was talking about going to college to do creative writing. And I was like, do you feel like you'll be able to teach that class with how much you've actually written? And she was like, yeah, probably, but she really wants the experience of it. So you kind of spoke to what she was looking for, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But awesome. Tell us a little bit more about your motivation. What really gets you up and keeps you going every day?
I have a decent amount of drive and a lot of dedication to my craft. Actually, in everything, I'm like with working out, I was saying, it's not drudgery. It's something that I do, and I know for my health I need it. So I get up and know that what needs to be done needs to be done. I just do it. But as far as my writing is concerned, I have kind of a magnetic pull towards it. I want to do it. I would get up. I had like 5 and 6 a.m. clients when I first started writing Another Beast Skin. And so I had to get up really early in order to get some writing in before I had my clients for the, half of the day, and then took care of my kids. And then I would kind of get a little bit in the evening, but then go to bed because I was getting up so early. But it's something that I feel like I need to do. I can't concentrate on anything else until I put those words down.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And do you have a set, like, I'm going to write 1,000 words before I get up, or what does that look like?
No, that hasn't really worked for me. A lot of people that works for, and that's great. And sometimes I'll do writing sprints with other people and be like, how much can you get done in 20 minutes? And yeah, it's great to get a big word count, but at the same time, I'm kind of feast or famine. I'll sit down and be like, all right, well, that was a good 200 word session, but it was a good 200 words. And then other times it'll be 6,000 words, and most of it's probably usable, but it's not, I don't aim for anything in particular. I try to finish a scene when I write, just because it's easier for me headspace wise, but I don't really aim for a specific, like a quantitative, anyway, yep, not even attempting it right now.
Yeah. I gotcha. Well, awesome. Tell us a little bit more about dreams and goals. We're going to jump into the meat right now. What's your vision for your life and your books?
World domination in the book market, obviously, right? My biggest dream is to be able to support my family and on my writing, and get my husband out of his job, and then I want us to retire. And I use the word retire lightly because we're not like old, but but move to Spain and be able to just kind of chill and write and do our art. My husband's an artist, and I want him to be able to do that without having another career to deal with. And I want to be able to support us and be able to continue writing and have people love my books. And it sounds kind of trite, but at the same time, that's the truth. I want people to be so enveloped in my stories and in my words that they can't wait for what I have to say next. They want everything that I put out. They just want to read it. So that's my dream.
I love it. So we got world domination in the book market.
Yep.
Support your family on your writing, and move to Spain, and with that, location freedom, time freedom, and money freedom that you will have. Just curious. Actually, I feel like this will be in the next couple questions. So before I ask that question, I'm going to ask this question, which I know that didn't make sense to you, but it made a lot of sense to me. What is the
Me too.
number of books? Yeah, what is the number of books that you need to sell per month or to hit that number that you'll be able to support your family on?
Um, I wish I knew that answer. Right now, my books are published through a small publisher, and they kind of have more control over my funds. So I really haven't made anything. I mean, truth be told.
Gotcha.
Um, and so I haven't really worked out the numbers as far as like what I put out because there's kind of a lot of extraneous factors that are going to decide that. Um, so I'm not quite sure yet. Um, that's definitely an evolving answer.
I gotcha. I gotcha. So is the number evolving or is the number of books evolving? Like, is it 10K a month and you just don't know how many books you need to sell? Or is it like it was 8K last month, it's 12K this month, could be 10K next month, could be 20K in the future?
I mean, honestly, 10K books a month would definitely be amazing. And that would work for me. Um, but I think once I get into a steady amount going out and then the books kind of being translated into other languages and more globally available, I think that I'll be able to make it work as like a sole income. Um, but I don't have a number yet. I wish I did.
I gotcha. I gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense. Do you have the no, I guess that's fine. We'll just move on. What are the top 1 to 2 skills that you need to develop right now to really get to the point where you can support your family on your writing?
I think for me, it would be outside of like my personal growth, which would probably be more focus driven. Not that I don't focus, but life happens. And so to zero in on something that you need kind of like full attention on, and be able to set it aside and say, well, no, this is my time to write. That focus would be helpful, but marketing, I guess I'm like, not that I'm horrible at marketing, but it's not my forte. And I would love to have that taken off my plate and be able to like get or taken off my plate or have it down pat for myself and be able to do it. So
I gotcha. I gotcha. And when it comes to marketing books, are you primarily doing it through social media? Are you doing paid ads? Do you have like just your group of 1,000 true fans that really sell your book for you? Like, what's the main form of marketing?
um, mainly through social media. And then I have done paid ads on Amazon and Amazon, Facebook, and Instagram, um, which I don't think have yielded that much results for me particularly yet. I did kind of a short trial run, mainly in October, just to kind of see where we were, because I kind of wanted to see like bump up those quarter 3 results and see where we were. But I think I do get a little bit more when I have more foot traffic on social media. And it's funny because they always say like word of mouth, village to village is the best way to market, especially when you have like a craft, an art craft that you're selling. Because one person spreads the word and someone else spreads the word, and you have people with larger Instagram following reading your book, and that really gets it out there. And that's the way to build the fan base I've found for me in particular. So I just kind of need more of that.
Okay. Okay. So you do some social media, you do some paid stuff, but the real key here is word of mouth.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
And
I feel like
podcasts.
and podcasts. There we go. Yeah. I feel like that is actually the thing about business in general. Like, I'm a big fan of Alex Hormozy. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
Gotcha. He's a big YouTube marketer. He's 32, was broke at 26, is worth $100 million now. And so he like did that because he knows how to market and sell really
Yeah.
well. And so I really love listening to his perspective on stuff. And he actually talked about the fact that as important as marketing is, what's really key is having a good product and a good customer experience so that they spread the good word of mouth, because
Exactly.
you're either getting good word of mouth or you're getting bad word of mouth, and bad word of mouth will kill your business. And so
Exactly.
sounds
Yeah,
like it's similar with
definitely.
books.
Yeah. I have a friend who does PR for a lot of artists. And when I told her that I was doing the paid ads, she's like, well, that's great, but it's all of your interactions that are going to yield more results. She's like, I can tell you that right now, that paid ads will get you visibility, but it's not like a hands-on interaction like you get on social media, and then thereby getting that word of mouth as well. So that was an interesting take that I hadn't thought of. So
Yeah, yeah, I got you. And when it comes to generating word of mouth, I noticed the PR person said hands on. Now, is a post on social media hands on enough, or is it like going live on social media? Is it attending the book signings that authors do?
it's everything. Yeah. I mean, it really is everything. It's kind of, I was putting in about 20 hours to 25 hours a week just on marketing my books. Up until probably like 6 weeks ago, I've had a little bit of a burnout and I just needed to step back a little bit. But yeah, it's doing all the things, going live on social media, doing book readings, and my book is a big deal. So I I need to get into more Barnes and Noble for signings, but I did one at my closest one in Valencia, and it was amazing. We sold out, and I met more community members, and people are excited to see somebody doing something in their community. I mean, I know I am. I love supporting small business. I love supporting really anybody who's trying to reach their dreams. But it was cool to know that other people felt that way too, and have people come up to me and want me to sign their books and stuff like that. And I think that made a huge difference in my overall sales, because I saw it bump up after that, and just morale as well, which then obviously gives you a little bit more fire.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes sense. I know when I was learning a lot about marketing a couple months back, like I think 6, 7, 8 months ago, I was like studying Russell Brunson and all them. And they would talk about how marketing, one of the keys to marketing is building your list. And one of the keys to building your list is giving away something for free that adds
Mhm.
value to the audience. And then they sign up, and then you can market to them through your email list like over and over and over. And so
Definitely.
as an author, is that just like a free copy of your book? Is it something else that's free? Is it like a bonus chapter that maybe you hit away? Like, what does that look like as an author?
It's actually like everything that you said. I've done giveaways with my books, and I have these stickers printed and things like that. And I have done bonus chapters, and I do have a newsletter, which I've been sorely neglecting lately. I was kind of waiting for a particular set of news. So yeah, anyway, excuses. But it is, yeah, it's, it can be anything depending on what people want. I found that the bonus chapters were fun. And it's also like I'll put together playlists for my books and my characters, and put those in my newsletter. I really big into music, so I'll always add songs, and then I'll put up links to a Spotify playlist on my Instagram account. And yeah, like I said, stickers and T-shirts. I had some candles made based on my characters, and I supported another small business doing that, and a fellow author actually. So that was a kind of a cool collaboration that we were able to do. And a lot of us get together and we'll do like a big giveaway of our own books. Like 5 of us will put our books into a pool and do a giveaway, and so it kind of supports us all.
Mm, yeah, that's really smart. I like the getting together and giving away 5 books. That's really cool. Well,
Awesome.
nice, nice. What are the highest impact? So we got kind of the skills you need. It's marketing, your own personal growth. But what are the highest impact daily actions that you can take every day to tick the needle forward towards replacing or sustaining your family on the income from books?
What I need to probably get back into more is querying for the my latest the one book that I have to query, because I'm trying to find a literary agent. And by having an agent, which I don't have now, they'll be my liaison, or my like the person who will coddle me and walk me and hold my hand through this whole process, and hopefully get me a bigger publishing deal in the future. And so querying that book is a step that I need to take every day. When I first started querying, like with Another Beast Skin, I sent out like 70 queries in one go. And I found that that doesn't really work, because I want to see why the book is being rejected when I do get rejections, which, obviously you do. That's just the way life is. So I'll take, two or three and send them out, and then maybe wait a couple days and then see where we go. So I need to query, and that's the daily thing. But I do need to write and edit daily.
Mm,
Not necessarily like a whole session, but I definitely need to feed my craft.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And so when you talk about querying, is that just like sending them out to agents to read? Like, what exactly does that mean?
It's actually a whole process, and we call it the query trenches because it's really demoralizing. But no, there's a format of a query letter that you put together, and it's dear so and so who is an agent at whatever agency that you're querying, and then you kind of give like a log line for your book, and there's everyone wants something slightly different from the way that you organize your query letter to the amount of pages that you send in. So the last one I sent in, I just had the whole letter and you give a synopsis of the book, and then comps for the book. Like this is, I'm going to give something completely totally different. Be like Willy Wonka meets, Dead Poet Society, which I can't even imagine what that would be like. But so you give like comps for your book, and then a short bio, and then whatever amount of the reading that they have asked for. So this last one was 10 pages. So the first 10 pages of your book, then you send in or put in the body of the email. And so you just, you kind of send it. It's cold calling. You just send it out
Yeah.
and kind of cross your fingers.
Wow. That is so interesting. And it's interesting on various levels because, like, what if the first 10 pages of your book just suck? And then
Yeah,
the other 190 are
you
like,
learn that. Yeah. I changed like the first 30 pages of Another Beast Skin when I first started querying it. I also started querying it at 172,000 words, which is way beyond what anyone wants to look at. They were like, no, cut 100,000.
yeah.
We'll look at it. But yeah, it was too long. But yeah, you kind of learn maybe these pages aren't so great. So you go back and you tweak them, and it's a process. It's definitely a learning process. So
Wow. That is so interesting. Have you ever thought about like, is like making that process easier for authors? Like, if you had to make that process smoother, easier, and like make it so more authors get their work out there to a larger audience, like what would you tweak in the process?
um we've kind of had a lot of discussions about this, like within the writing community, because there will be agents who don't respond because they get tons of queries. I mean, there's some I've seen who get hundreds a month, and they just don't have time to respond to all of them, much less respond personally. But I actually have never gotten a rejection that said why they were rejecting it beyond the word count being too high. I did get that in the beginning. But I've heard of people getting it saying, oh, I didn't connect with your characters, or I didn't like your multiple POVs. And that's really helpful feedback when you get that. But most agents don't. They'll just be like, it wasn't for me. It wasn't right for my list at this time. Um, so I kind of wish that there was almost like if everything's going to be in a form rejection anyway, it's like tick a form, like almost like, I mean, I have kids, so you get like progress reports, and sometimes there'll be like numbers that say, it's really a pleasure in class. And it's like, okay, they say that to everybody, but unless it isn't a pleasure in class, but
Yeah.
but like almost if there were things that they could tick, like didn't like this, which obviously takes time, but it would be helpful, I think, to know where you stand, because sometimes it really is, it's not right for my list, or I honestly couldn't be bothered to read the whole thing because I was lost after the first line, but I
Ah, I see. That is so interesting. So like having a forum where it's like maybe they have things on like theme or voice or
yeah,
whatever writing things you guys put into your novels, and then they can like check off boxes like,
exactly.
I think there's a 1, there's a 5, blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, you should really edit it. You're terrible with typos. I'm terrible with typos. I'm really bad with
Yeah,
typos.
I got you. I
um,
got you.
but I also understand because they get so many queries that I understand that it's almost like a full-time job in itself, just responding. So I I don't know what the right answer is.
Yeah. Yeah, because that could add an unnecessary amount of time to, man, I do feel like there's a $1 billion business idea right there though. I will say.
Maybe.
If you and some other writers ever get a hankering to just jump into the business world, I think you guys could solve those two problems and do very
You
well for
never
yourselves.
know. Somebody came up with the idea for the query tracker website, which so that probably has made them quite a bit. And there's the section for agents themselves and publishers, and there's a section for authors so that you can see all the agents that you've queried and whether it's rejected or accepted. And I mean that has definitely made things easier. Some of them you actually submit your project through Query Tracker, so it's all in a form submission, and that actually is a lot easier. So
Mm.
someone did make some money on that, I assume.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I bet they did. I bet a lot of authors use that. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, definitely.
awesome. Well, what character trait do you most need to develop right now to make your dream life come true?
Um, Probably a little bit more of a thicker skin. I I think I get a little bit discouraged with myself, and I think that that is something that I could definitely improve upon just a little bit more. Like I have perseverance, and sometimes when I'm down, I'll get up a lot stronger. However, I do take things to heart really easily, and I think I need to develop a little bit of a thick skin.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay, there we go. Why do you think you take things to heart?
I'm just a very sensitive person.
Yeah.
I think it's just that creative,
Mm,
I don't know, creative romantic mindset. You just kind of everything sinks in. So
yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha. Thank you for sharing that. If there were one or two people that you could meet right now, and this could be a specific person or a type of person, and they'd really help you take that next step towards your dreams and goals, who would they be and how would they do it?
ooh, I think probably meeting a literary agent who has a lot of experience and success, but still wants to help authors. I think, and I mean, I can think of, um, I can think of specific people who on social media I've seen have been helpful. I don't really want to call anybody out just because I don't want it to be awkward, but like, I think any literary agents who would be able to point me in the right direction or give me the time of day. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of really sit down and look at what I'm putting out. I think that would probably be handy, because I think just kind of, I don't know, I like to pick people's brains, even if it isn't just for me, but I want to know what makes people tick, what makes people want the projects that they want. So I think that that would be an interesting meeting. So I think, and that would help me not only on my career path, but just kind of in that creative state to just kind of know. I don't know. I guess what the literary world would be wanting right now. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah. Have
I
you
don't
ever
know if
thought
that
about
makes
starting a
sense.
podcast?
Only briefly because my 14-year-old suggested it. But I mean, I did think about it. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to be on podcasts, and even it's funny because my mom's like, "I can't believe you do this now," because I would get so nervous I would stutter just talking to people. I'd have to like stand up in a meeting and my hands would shake. It was awful. So it's to me that I've come this far is kind of amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Kudos to you, especially if 2 years ago you were so nervous you would stutter. You're doing really well. So I wouldn't have ever guessed for sure.
Thanks.
Of
Thank
course, of
you.
course. But yeah, I think a podcast would be great exactly for that. Especially like I don't know if you'd be able to get the top dog literary agents, at least in the
Mhm.
beginning, until you have the eyes of more authors and other literary agents. But some of the like middle dogs, like up and coming literary agents that are still really busy, but need to optimize some parts of their business would really love a podcast to let authors know what they're looking for and make their
Yeah, sure.
systems and processes easier. And so, value add to the literary agent, value add to other authors, value add to yourself. And
Yeah,
I don't know, just seems like a win win win. But
yeah,
it's
it's
also
true.
time. So maybe that's a lose part. But
Yeah, but everything is right. time is money, money is time.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Well, awesome. Now we're gonna jump into our thriving three, and
okay.
our first question is, what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
Okay, pick one of the three.
One of the three. Yep.
My favorite book is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness.
A Discovery of Witches or
So I
Widges?
don't know. Do you want to? Mm-hmm. Yep, witches. Yeah,
Gotcha. There we go.
definitely.
Why is that your favorite?
Um, the world that she builds in it, I mean, it takes place in the real world, but her world building with creatures versus humans and linking alchemy and science and history. She's a historian. Deborah Harkness, the writer, is actually a historian. She works for USC, and she's an inspiring person anyway. And I love that she published her book in her 40s, like her first book she published in her 40s, and that's really inspiring to me because I was 42 when my first book came out, so I thought that was kind of cool. But the book itself, it just from the and I reread it every year. It's my comfort read. The characters, the dialogue, the world building is just it's cozy, and it kind of makes no apologies for the fact that it's intelligent, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, gotcha. That's really cool. World building. What do you think are some of the key elements of world building that like will set really quality building apart from like adequate world building?
I think just the the tangible and visceral details that you add, the way that things feel to your characters and smell to your characters. I want to know what the climate is, without just, telling me the climate is. I want to know what everyone's feeling and the emotional response the characters have towards the world around them. I want to know what makes money change hands. I want to know what makes people just violent and passionate and fall in love and do the things that they're doing based on the nature around them. So I think that's what sets it apart.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really exciting when I think about that, especially because it's like I feel like to be an author, maybe Stephen King said this in his book, so on writing, but
Uh-huh.
I feel like when you become a really good author, it comes from like a really good understanding of humans and human dynamics
Definitely.
because like to come and speak about a world that you're creating with that much detail, you have to understand the world we live in, A, and then to communicate it in a way that people want to keep reading it, you really have to understand humans. So I just think that's really cool.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. That was important from when I was building my world in Beast. When I first got the idea for the book, I wasn't actually going to have that alternate realm in it. I was going to mention it, but it wasn't actually going to be a huge part of the book. And I really did a deep dive into it, especially into the second and third book, because I loved building that realm. I actually wrote another language for it as well, because it was important.
You
I
wrote
wanted,
another language?
yeah,
You created a whole language?
I did. Yeah. It's not Tolkien level because I'm not that brilliant. But I did.
Tolkien created
So
another language?
yeah, I did.
I did not know that. I feel silly now on the
No,
podcast.
no, not at all. No, I mean, why, you wouldn't know that unless you knew, unless you were a huge fan or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, so,
for sure. So interesting. Awesome. Oh, that's so cool.
yeah.
What is one way you like to take care of yourself?
Working out. I think it's so important for us, and to recognize the proper way to work out. And this is where I get into like all of my. I have a lot of credentials through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, including my behavior change specialist, and I have fitness nutrition coaching and TRX and all of these things. But um, to recognize the the times of your life that you need to do different types of exercise. For instance, a couple of years ago, everyone was into like CrossFit and high impact training and just go, 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 go. And then we recognized that there was an unhealthy hormone shift, especially in females, that we need to not necessarily work that hard all the time. And especially women over a certain age, like that, those HIIT workouts isn't something that you want to do during different parts of your cycle. And so I won't deep dive into that, but knowing when is the better time for you to, deadlift versus do Pilates versus go for like a 6 mile run, and what's right for your body at the time, and listening to your body and not punishing your body thinking, oh, I'm working out to lose weight, or I have to get in 40 minutes of cardio. It's just listening to your body and what it needs at the time, whether it's like slow and steady core work, or whether it's, sometimes you need to rip weight around a little bit. I think that is really important, and that's a way that I take care of myself, and kind of really listen to what I need to do for my body on any given day. So
There we go.
probably a longer-winded answer than you wanted, but
Oh, I loved it. In fact, I have a follow-up question about it. Do you when you say listen to yourself, I feel like that is a very I don't feel like you're born knowing how to listen to yourself and know what you need, if that makes sense. You may listen to yourself in the fact that like there's pain in my lower back, or there's this or there's that. But so how do you develop listening to yourself and knowing what you need and then acting accordingly?
Sometimes it's slowing down, and I'm not a competitive person. So for instance, years ago when I did do CrossFit as a workout, it was kind of torture to me, because I had that anxiety around me of needing to keep up, but at the same time, that's not the way I am as a person. I'm not competitive, and so I just wanted to work out on my own, and it made me feel like there was too much going on at once. Whereas I could push myself and be like, I want to go faster today, but only on my own, not with someone else around. I don't know, I'm weird. But I think stepping back and slowing down and really taking a look at, okay, do I like running? I do, but some people don't, but they force themselves to run anyway. And I think if you were to stop and say, I don't really like running, okay, what does my body like doing? Well, my body likes lifting weights. Okay, let's see, how can we incorporate the lifting weights and the stuff that we like into a regimen that works for everything that we need, because we do need some sort of cardiovascular exercise.
What? No, we
You
don't.
know, uh-uh, uh-uh. Lots of things can be cardio though. They don't have, it doesn't have to be running and stairmasters and stuff like that. You can be going on the rower, or well, honestly, walking. That's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Walking and hiking. So, but I think stepping back and taking into account what you do want and what you don't want. It's almost like when you like go to your hairstylist, and like sometimes they'll be like, okay, I'm not sure what I want, but I know what I don't want. This is what I don't want. So knowing what you don't like as far as exercise or diet too, be like, okay, do I really want to eat egg whites and boiled chicken every day? Not really. Like,
Yeah.
okay, what do you like, and let's take it in moderation. So I think that's kind of key.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had a really interesting Alex Hormozy. He's also a fitness guy, big time marketer, big time fitness guy. And he was just talking about the importance of like to get his dream body. He wasn't necessarily talking about health per se, but to get his dream body, a lot of it hinged on eating a lot of protein and then
Mm-hmm.
controlling his calorie intake. And so if he wanted to stay at a certain weight, it meant this amount of calories, and he knew he needed 200 grams of protein. But outside of that, he could eat all the sweets he wanted, eat all this, eat all that. I'm not saying it's the healthiest thing to do, but he could maintain his six pack by eating that protein and having done the work that he did. And I was like, that's really interesting, because a lot of people don't tell you that when,
It's true.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
very interesting stuff. Awesome. What is one action step you can take right now or continue to take if you're already doing it to meet that person, that literary agent that has that experience, success, and also wants to help authors?
Um, I think continuing my query process, and tweaking it, just see where my faults lie, and see where like weak spots in my query letter, or even in my first few pages are, and or is, and I've had to put myself out there. Like I said, like going on podcasts and things, I've had to put myself out there more in the last couple of years than I ever thought I would do. But I genuinely like to support other people. I mean, just like whether it's a small business or anybody, really, I'm because I'm not competitive, I always want to help other people. And so I think just like my online presence and just trying to just be more supportive of other people and meeting other people in the writing community, including literary agents. I think that that is probably one of my action steps. Just keep up with like a genuine presence. I don't put on airs. I don't pretend to be anything else, or it's just me.
I got you. I got you. So continue the query process and push the genuine online presence, whether that be posting
Absolutely.
content or interacting with people.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Sounds good. I was gonna ask you a question, but I literally just forgot it. And that is so frustrating.
Do that all the time.
Yeah. Oh, what was it? What was it? Hopefully it comes back to me. I'm just gonna ask the next questions. I think it'll come back to me. Cool.
No
We're gonna
worries.
jump into our final series of questions now. These can get a little bit personal. So if you it's like on the tip of my tongue. Like I just it's so close. Oh my
I
god.
cannot move on.
Um so these can get a little bit personal. If you don't want to answer them, you can just pass. That's totally
Okay.
fine. And we'll just move on to the next question. What is one limiting belief that continues to pop up in your life, if any?
Oh, I'm the best at telling myself that I'm not enough, just not enough of anything. And so I think that's the one.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
And where does the not enough come from?
Um, I don't know. Probably just I mean, there's probably some childhood thing, but there's nothing in particular that I can pinpoint. But I think it's just being a creative, sensitive person, and and I'm like I'm a giver. I always want to help other people. I always want to be the one who's really kind of facilitating care or happiness of my loved ones. So I think that just being that ultra sensitive, creative personality and being the giver, I think makes me feel like I'm never doing enough. I'm never enough to everybody, and so that definitely shows up in my writing career. Like it's that imposter syndrome, you know. So
I got you. So you got the ultra sensitive, creative personality. So you kind of take things to heart easily, but you're also the
yeah,
giver. So you like to create space for people in which they can thrive and give them the things they need to succeed. And that kind of leaves you vulnerable to the not being enough because it's hard to hold those two things in tandem.
definitely, yeah.
I got you. I got you. Are there people or situations in your life that tell you you are enough and you reject it? Or do you just feel like you've lacked that throughout your life?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no, I definitely, yeah, I mean, my husband's always, yeah, no, you're the best, you're everything.
Yeah,
And I have actually a decent support system. My two best friends and my mom. I talk to my mom every day. She's across the country, but I talk to her every day. Yeah, and then my kids are awesome. So
I got you. That's awesome. That's awesome. Was your mom like that growing up too? Or has it
yeah,
kind
she was always supportive of my art. She was very busy though. She worked two jobs for probably most of my childhood. To the point I was actually in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program because my mom worked all the time and she wanted someone to be able to like take me and do things while she was working her second job. So that was a really cool experience for me. I think that is part of who I am. I think just having and it was just someone else to contribute. And we actually have a big family, but she wanted someone to be around for me who was like younger and could take me out and do those things. And so that I think that was a really um, it was a good move on her part to have that like emotional buoy for me. So
I got you.
but yeah, but she was always supportive of me. So.
Really cool. Really cool. Do you have any actions that happen like currently, it can either be daily, weekly, monthly, or annually, that reinforce this belief that you're not good enough or you're not enough, not even not good enough, just not enough?
I think it's just that negative self-talk, which um, talking to other authors, other writers, that we all tend to have this cyclical. I love my writing. I'm great. This is amazing. I'm gonna do it. Oh my god, I suck. It's just this. It just keeps creeping up. And for me, mine is just like the lurker. Like around the corner. Like, hey, guess what? You're not doing enough. Um, and so I think it's just. I mean, it's like having a mantra or manifesting the good. I think I always have that in the back of my head. So it's just it's it's a self-inflicted lurker. I don't know.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it's the talk, because I also take action steps to avoid it as well. So
I gotcha. I gotcha. What action steps do you take to avoid that negative self-talk?
I put in the work, and when I have something go wrong, I I kick back hard. So like I'll like cry and lament about it and complain and like really kind of thrash around and throw a tantrum for a good day or so, and then I'm like, absolutely not. We are gonna get this done, and then I'll like write another book. I just, just throw some weights around. I definitely gotta go out there and slam some deadlifts or something, but like then I will dig into my writing or my editing, and I'll show up. And I think that is such an important thing, is just to keep showing up for yourself. And then for someone like me, I think that that's important too, because it's not just for everyone else. It's showing up for myself and doing the things. I just slammed my hand on my book. That was that was the reason I reached over there. But yeah, so yeah.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Do you think there are any positive results that um, the negative self-talk is stopping from coming into your life? Because I know we talk a lot about limiting beliefs, and people will say limiting beliefs about money, limiting beliefs about writing,
Yeah.
limiting beliefs about athletic performance, all stop you from getting the thing that's out there for you to grab. So do you feel like that's the
Yeah.
case with you?
I think it could be. I mean, yeah, I think it could be, because it puts a stopgap on things. It's anything that halts your momentum um, could definitely be limiting, and that negative self-talk definitely halts momentum. So it is definitely something that I need to work past a little
I
bit.
mean, we all do, right? If you don't have negative self-talk and you're human, kudos to
Exactly.
you. But
Yeah.
I have
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
actually found one dude. I found one dude. He was on my show. He was like, "Yeah, I don't have any limiting beliefs." I was like, "Really, dude? That is wild." He's like,
Wow.
I don't know if it's that I don't have them, or if it's that I've just gotten so good at calling BS on myself."
Yeah.
He's like a big ultra marathon guy. Like
Nice.
he pushes himself
Push past.
way
Yeah.
past these crazy limits, and so he's like,
Yeah.
"When you do an ultra marathon, making a
Yeah.
cold call just isn't scary."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
I
not.
mean, he's right. Yeah, definitely.
So
I mean, it's that training mindset where train to the last 20 miles of the marathon, and just, hope and a prayer for this remaining six, to push past what you thought you were capable of. It's that mindset.
yeah,
And yeah, yeah.
absolutely. So I think he definitely had them once upon a time. I think he's just gotten really good at saying, "Nope, you're not gonna bow down to that."
Nice.
So good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
If you were to change that limiting belief of "I'm not enough" into an
Mhm.
abundant phrase that really spoke to your heart,
Okay.
what would that phrase be?
I am enough, obviously.
Yeah.
And the universe wants me to succeed.
Mm, I got you. I got you.
We'll go
Do
with
you
that.
think? Do you think the universe is the "I'm not enough" paired with "and the universe doesn't want me to succeed"?
I think the universe wants me to succeed. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I really do. I feel like it's in my cards. It's on my horizon. I need to get there.
Mm,
Um, so I think I do. I I can see it. I can picture it, and I'm really good at that. So I just need to push past my limits.
I got you. I got you. Just curious. This may be pushing a little too much, but you did pair those two together. And so if you do believe that the universe wants you to succeed, which I fully
Uh-huh.
believe you do, why do you think you paired those two together in the phrase that really speaks to your heart in the I'm not enough part?
I think I wanted to qualify my enough because that's my self-doubt, even though I see the bigger picture. So I wanted to kind of cement the bigger picture that I know is positive with the rephrasing of my self-doubt. I think, does that make sense? It's like the thing that I knew I wanted to pair in order to like kind of strengthen what I'm manifesting.
Mm, I see. So it's something you knew to be true, something
Yes.
you want to be true, paired those two together in hopes that the want would become a
Yeah.
now I know it's true.
It's like my scaffolding, I have that structure there and that's going to help hold up everything else.
Gotcha. How did you get to the point of knowing that the universe wants you to succeed?
I think I decided a couple of years ago. Honestly, once I realized that I wanted to write this book, when that came about, I could see it being big and not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to be the biggest author because of this book, but I'm going to succeed in my career as an author because it's who I am. And the fact that I wanted it so much, I knew that it was within my universal grasp. So.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Cool. Cool. I like it. Thank you for with our enduring my question badgering.
No worries. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we got one last question for you. And I want to frame this next question. Actually, before we got one last question, we got one last question before the last question.
Oh, good. Excellent.
And so, with the knowing that the universe wants you to succeed, I noticed there wasn't a qualifier. So, how do you think you can get to the point where the I am enough doesn't have a qualifier on it? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think I need to make it more of a mantra. I think I need to like really kind of pen to paper, just get it out of my head, get the negative part out of my head and just replace it. And I mean, it's something that I tell like my kids all the time. I'm like, take that negative thought and replace it, whenever it pops up, because it's an intrusive thought. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
When those intrusive thoughts come lurking, you need to have something ready. It's a comeback. You need a comeback and just replace it, just pull that brick out and plug something else in. So I need to take my own advice on that.
There we go. There we go. Now we got the last question, and I want to frame it. Okay. Alex Hormozi, who I've mentioned for the third time on this podcast. I'm gonna have to bring him on one day and be like,
I think you do.
My whole podcast is about you, just so you know. But he said that the difference between manipulation and help is intent. And I think his point here is that you're influencing people in both situations, but manipulation is about getting somebody to do something that you want them to do, while help is about seeking to understand what somebody else wants and then helping them get there. This question is about help, not manipulation. So, there's a common saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I actually found out from Dr. Alan Leica, who was a guest on my show, that you can make it drink. You just have to salt its oats. Now, I want you to think of a person with a really fixed mindset, not willing to accept help, not willing to accept change, but they hate their life. How can we, you and I, create an environment to salt their oats and help them change their life?
I think he here is showing not only what they're capable of, but I think showing them a result, something that's already there, something that they've already brought to the table that is indicative of how change can be more profound in a way that would be pleasing to them. And I think I hope I'm getting to the meat here properly, but I had this with personal training clients. so many people would be like, well, I'm not in shape, I'm afraid to come work out with you. And I'm like, that's literally the reason that I am existing in this field. Like, I'm not here to train people who are, I mean, it's great to have people who know what they're doing and just want, a different form of direction. But the reason I was doing it was to help people get to the goals, help people, recover from illness. I would have, people recovering from cancer, or people who wanted to lose massive amounts of weight, or people who just, whatever the reason that you're coming to me, it's for me to help you get to where you are your healthiest, right? And so um, I had so many people say, well, I don't want to work. I don't look like you. Of course you don't. You're not me. You're not trying to look like me. You're trying to look like you. You're just trying to be healthy. Like, it's not about that. So what I always wanted to do was come in, let me show you what you can do. Let me show you how I can help you realize what you are capable of and how that is going to turn into your life being more positive. Does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I like to show them what they're capable of, show them a result, and also kind of just embedded in there. There was a make them feel safe, and
Absolutely.
there was a little bit of a lot of people get a bad feeling about sales, but sales at its core,
Yeah.
when you have a great product, is helping people get out of their own way when it comes to helping themselves. And
Yes.
so when it comes to training and you're like, I don't want to come work out with you because I don't look like you. It's like, good. That's not what we're trying to do. You don't want to look like me.
Yeah.
I want you to look like you and your best you. And so
Yes.
making them feel safe and like pushing past their honestly the intrusive negative thoughts that they have in their head
Yeah.
that are stopping them from
Definitely.
taking the next step. I think that's really cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love that answer.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we do that also with writing when we critique each other. Like, obviously, like in I have different friends who are different writers. We're all from different walks of life, and we've met online, but we critique each other's writing and manuscripts. And you can't go into a critique going, "Well, I hate this, and you messed up here, and you have 18,000 typos." That's me, by the way, 18,000 typos. And like, this is awful, and you need to change all that. Even if you feel that way, you got to bookend it. You got to be like, oh my God, this character is so cute. I love this line of dialogue. Here's what I love what you've done with this passage. I want to see more of that here. And I think showing people what they've done right and all the things that have made you feel in their manuscript is a way to bring out their better writing and have them change the stuff that isn't so good or that I didn't connect with, and make them expand and expound on what they did so brilliantly. I think it's kind of the same thing. So
I love that. Well, awesome. Jessica, that's all we got for you. Is there anything else you
excellent.
want to chat about before we sign off?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, I have a cover reveal for Stars Like Gasoline in January, and I'll be doing that on all of my social media pages, especially Instagram, though, because that's kind of where I'm the most active. And so that'll be a big deal, and I'll open pre-orders for Stars Like Gasoline, and I'm super excited about that book. So that's kind of all. I just wanted to plug that a little bit.
Gotcha. There we go.
So
You
that's
said
it.
you'll be
Yeah, thank you
opening.
so much for having me on. This was great.
Of course, yeah. You said
Oh,
you'll
pre-orders.
be, yes, pre-orders. What was there a date on that? I didn't catch it.
January 24th actually is when I plan to do the cover reveal, and if all goes to plan, I will open pre-orders that day as well. So yeah,
Gotcha. That's awesome. And that's a Monday, right?
it should be a Tuesday. If I
Tuesday.
did I think it should be a Tuesday, and
It
then
is.
yeah, and then the book will come out in April. But as for now, I have Another Beast Skin and A Braiding of Darkness available wherever books are sold. So yeah,
Sounds good. Well, there you go. Jessica, thanks so much for coming on the show. And if you guys loved what she had to say, loved who she is, go check out her books, buy a copy for a friend, leave a review on Amazon.
yes,
Is that the
please.
best place to leave a review or?
Anywhere you want. Amazon's great. Goodreads if you're on Goodreads. But if you bought the book off Barnes and Noble, definitely leave a review there. Yeah, but reviews are awesome. They're like really, really helpful for authors. People don't realize just how important they are. So even if it's a bad review,
There we
you know.
go. Yeah, there we go. And
All
join her
right.
email list and then get on her for not sending out the emails
That's
consistently.
true. Yeah, I'll work on that later. That's my action step for this week.
Awesome. Well, Jessica, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Of course. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you on the next one. On that note, we're out.